Kingdom Come Deliverance, by far one of the most interesting RPGs of the last few years at least. But the question is this, is it worth it to buy right now, or we should just ignore it and move on? Well, let's find out. And as always, I'm not gonna be wasting your time, and I'm going to be giving you answer right away. Do not waste your time as I do in every single one of my videos. And the answer is this: Kingdom Come Deliverance is worth it, but not for everyone. And the reasons why this game is actually a great one is the same reason why this game won't be for everyone either. So let me just explain. So what even is Kingdom Come Deliverance? Kingdom Come Deliverance is as classical RPG game as you can think of it. You're playing in a first person, and the setting of this game is happening during the medieval period. And weirdly enough, this is actually not a fantasy medieval period. This is actually literal historical period of 1403. And in this game, there is no magic, there is no sorcery, there are no monsters, and then there are no demons, and there are no evil creatures other than the men themselves. And the story-wise, you are just one of the people who are living in this period, and you are thrown into this political turmoil of the medieval ages. The story is all about the revenge, all about the family relationships, and I'm not gonna be spoiling anything to you because, yeah, even though story is not actually that amazing, that great, or that unpredictable, it's, well, the story that you will be experiencing, so I'm not gonna be spoiling it for you. And the first thing that I thought when I started playing this game was the very close resemblance to one of the favorite games of mine, and it's The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. And for the ones who played this game, you will immediately feel like home. The interface is very similar, and the gameplay, the first-person gameplay, is very, very similar. You have very similar dialogue choices, even though it's, well, more advanced and more modern. Like, for example, the camera work is more cinematic, you have cinematic cutscenes, and the game itself is a little different. But the core of the game is very similar to Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Not Skyrim though, it's not like Skyrim, it's more like Oblivion. And the biggest differentiator of this game from every other game, and at least from every other game of a modern era, is how open and how free this game is. You see, when you're given a task in this game, you're actually not given a specifics of the certain task, and in many cases, not even the place where you need to complete the task. You are just given a task to, well, to do certain thing, and the rest is all up to you. But practically always, you have a multiple ways to complete the certain tasks, and some tasks are open to you and some tasks are closed to you based on different stats that your character has. As an example, I will give you a situation that is happening fairly early into the game. One of the tasks early into the game that you have is, well, escaping the certain castle. You're not captive there, but you are actually not allowed to leave the castle. You're not given a very specifics of what you need to do, but when you play around, you actually realize that you have multiple ways to complete the task. When you scour the castle, you will not find the easy ways to escape, but it turns out the most easy way to escape is just to jump from the bridge and just run for your life. It's not the best one, but you can actually do that, and if you get spotted, you will get chased, and if you get caught, you'll be thrown back into the castle. Or alternatively, you can gather some money, buy a lockpick, and try to pick the lock of one of the doors of the castle to escape silently from there. Or for example, you can find the uniform of the guard, or just leave disguised as a guard, or alternatively, you can even kill or incapacitate one of the guards to, well, steal their uniform. And all of those things is fairly explained a little bit in early game, but as you go further into the game, less and less information is given to you, giving you more options to complete different tasks in a multiple different way. Another thing that is fairly different from every other game, but which makes this game kind of very survivalish, is actual different stats that you need to constantly control. Like, for example, your nourishment, basically how full you are and whether you need to eat food or not, how rested you are, which affects your different stats, and even how clean you are. Because if you are dirty and you are speaking to a peasants, it might not be a big deal, but if you are very dirty and you are speaking with nobles, that might lock a certain options from you. So, well, be prepared for that as well. Plus, every single weapon and armor has their own durability, and they will actually degrade by time and by use, and you need to actually take care of your gear as well. But by far one of the most, well, difficult and kind of like a challenging part of the game is the game's combat. The combat in this game is actually pretty challenging, and if you are used to mowing the groups of enemies with your sword or with any weapon of your choice in any other game, Here, you won't be able to do that. You see, the combat in this game is very strategic. It's mainly made for one-on-one combat. You see, when you're fighting, you see the prompt of from where your enemy will be attacking or from where you will be attacking, and you have actually multiple points of attacking, and you need to, well, parry, block, and find the places to attack enemies without them actually blocking. You can actually even counter-attack and kick enemies, and etc., making it fairly challenging even for one-on-one combats, but it will be much more difficult to fight multiple enemies all at once, and that is actually a pretty big challenge. And all in all, this sounds pretty interesting and pretty fun, but why would I not recommend this game? Well, you see, all of this makes the game pretty interesting, but the game is not holding your hand, like, at all. Like, completely, at all. Game is just giving you a certain directions where you need to go, especially in a side quest or even main quest as well, and you need to figure out the rest by yourself. Plus, because the game is pretty challenging combat-wise, you don't have a lot of options as well, and one particular mechanics makes the game even more difficult and more challenging, and it's the saving system. You see, in majority of the RPGs, you can just quick load and quick save anytime that you want, but here, it's not the case. You are actually allowed to save anywhere that you want, but only through the certain different means. You see, one of the options that you can do is through the main menu called save and quit, and what this will do is it will save the game and quit the game entirely. Not go into the main menu, it will quit the game entirely, forcing you to, well, run the game again if you want to load from the save. So this is basically the closest thing that you can have for the quick save. And other saving points are, well, predetermined, and it's got kind of like a checkpoint system, so you cannot actually control this if you don't want to lose quite a long time of the gameplay between the loads. And one very interesting saving system is through the, well, potion, or rather through item itself. You can have a certain item that will allow you to save game anytime that you want, but the item is pretty rare and pretty expensive to have, so it's not a very viable thing that you can be using all the time. And because the game has quite a lot of different ways to complete its tasks and quite a lot of different outcomes based on how you actually do that, even though the game does not have very branching storyline, it still has quite a lot of different ways to complete the tasks. Because of this save system, you will not be able to experience them all, at least through one playthrough. And that means basically game is forcing you to live with the consequences of your choice. Do I think that this is a bad thing? No, I love it, because I was growing up on the games of late 90s and early 2000s, and yeah, the quick save and quick loads were not always available, and we'll always have to live with the consequences of our choices. But for the people who grew up in 2010s and, well, started really gaming during this time period, this type of mechanics is not very prevalent, unless you are very deep into Souls-like games. If you aren't into those, yeah, you're gonna love it here. But for the rest, it's, well, not that, well, fun. But we're gonna make conclusions in a bit. First, let's discuss the pricing of this game. The game is available on Steam for the base price of $29.99 for Tier 1 countries and $14.49 for Tier 2 countries, and it can go as low as $8.09 for Tier 1 countries and $3.91 for Tier 2 countries. So, is this game actually worth it for those prices? Well, for a discount, 100%. Even though I think that this game will not be enjoyed and loved by everyone, for the discounted prices, especially for the sub $10, this game is must try for everyone, because this game is one of dying breed. The games where you're not being held and just given the freedom to do, well, whatever you want, or rather, do things however you want. Just be aware that if you are not used to games like that, you might not enjoy it, but just try to play this game a little bit open-minded and try to, well, explore the things around you rather being handhold and just do as you're told to do, and you might find one of the best games of all time. Don't get me wrong, game is not the masterpiece. It has a lot of issues, but rather small issues, especially with the combat. But still, the game is pretty enjoyable, and if you are enjoying things like that, and if you're enjoying the challenge and exploration and unlocking the game at your own pace, you're gonna enjoy this game a lot. And if you have not played the games like that, at least give it a chance on a discount, because you will find out whether you like this game or not in a refund window quite quickly. So yeah, I highly suggest you to give this game a chance. Yeah, because this game kind of deserves it, and the games of this genre, well, we need to have more of them. That's just what I think. Well, this will be it for today. Thanks for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.